I'm not psycho. Wake up.
Hey, and welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Late with Dougie Show. I am your host, Dougie Almeida, here from Simpsonville, South Carolina, where I'm learning how to line dance. And I'm blending in like Joe Pesci. Got a great show for you today. Very funny comedian friend of mine, Mr. Jack Jr., who's just blowing up this year, is doing a great job. And we're going to have a few things. We're going to ask Jack some questions. Jack Jr. some questions. Let me ask you. And of course, we're going to have our segment, Did You Hear? You know, a lot of shit going on you may not have heard about. And then, of course, we're going to play the old word association game with our guest, Jack Jr. Without further ado, let's bring on Jack. What's up, buddy? Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was good. Anyway, welcome, dude.
what's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. Well, I'm surprised I got you in one spot. I mean, every time I put on the computer, you're in Vegas, you're in fucking Phoenix, you're in fucking Canada. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm actually at my parents' house right now. Just thought I'd visit them for a little bit.
Yeah, that's always good. And you got a new baby, right? You got a new son. How old is your son now?
Got a new baby. I just bought a house. My son is 5 months old right now.
Wow. That's a lot, you know. It's got to be a little hard to go on the road, right? When you
Yeah, but it's also honestly, it lit a fire in my ass to like kind of get out there and hustle even more. You know, like I was getting kind of comfortable where I was at, and I said, you know what? Let's get some stress. Let's have a baby, and let's get some more gigs.
That's the way to do it. I mean, people don't understand. It's like how relative that is, how much work we do. Like I have people say, "Oh man, you're always working," and I'm always like, "Man, it's not enough." Like I feel like you see other people doing other stuff, and you're like, "God dang," I feel like I got to be doing more. And other people look at you, and you're like, "Man, you're busting your ass," and you're like, "Is it?" It's no wonder people get caught up in that, right? It's a kind of a crazy
Yeah,
biz.
it's never enough. Like if I talked about this before. I said if I talked to myself 10 years ago and I said, hey man, you're gonna be touring the world, you're gonna be headlining clubs, you're gonna do comedy for a living, and you're not gonna be happy. I would be pissed, you know?
That's so fucking true. Yeah, it's I mean, no wonder there's so much like craziness in our business, right? And people fucking like depression and stuff because there's nothing better than being on stage and you're doing all that shit. But let's face it, we're really only on stage for a little over an hour or so a night, if that, and the rest of the time is traveling and all that other shit, and
Yeah.
it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just fucking crazy, I
That's
had
the
an
worst part,
interest.
man. That's the worst part. Airports are probably the worst part of this gig, traveling. And like you said, we bust our ass, we promote the shows, we put this material together, and then we're gone for like a weekend, and we're only performing for 4 hours. You know, like
Yeah.
it's a lot of time, a lot of dead space.
Yeah, it's like being a porn star who suffers from premature ejaculation.
Crazy.
You're only in there for a few minutes, and all this camera setting up, and it's over. Took longer to set up. Took longer to focus the camera. Than it did for me to hold my load. Um,
Yeah,
you know, and not only that now, and this is something I was just talking to somebody about, but this social media stuff. Having the videos to put out, and I went to bed last night at 3 in the morning. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, talking to some whore. But I mean, because that's what she was thinking, but I'm
yeah,
just sitting there like editing a clip, like that came out to like just 2 clips for like a minute and a half, but it took me like two and a
yeah.
half hours just to get it right, and it's just never ending.
It's never ending. That's another thing that one of my goals this year was to get my social media numbers up, and all it is being consistent and putting yourself out there and just literally being consistent. It doesn't even have to be good or bad. It's just like honestly, my I used to have like big production videos where I would get like camera guys, lighting, actors, extras, and they're still up on YouTube and they have like 600 views. And
Right.
then I'll just post a crowd work clip and it has 2 million views. It's just like people want quick stuff and they just want to see something like 5 seconds, dude. It's crazy. And my
Yeah.
numbers have gone up like crazy. Like I literally Like 6 months ago, I probably throughout all my pages, I had maybe 15,000 followers with Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I started posting videos about 4 or 5 months ago, and then now I'm over 175,000
Nice.
followers just from posting clips of like crowd work moments that happen at a show that will never ever happen again. You know, like just some
Yeah.
easy
Yeah.
moment. It's crazy. It's amazing how a lot of comics are doing that, and a lot of comics are taking over the social media thing because it used to be just a bunch of kids dancing, but now you're seeing more comedians, which I think is great.
I do, and it's huge. Like somebody was just telling me the little things. Like I was if I videoed my set, it would be horizontally with my phone, and somebody recently says, "No, you got to do it straight up. You want to have your whole body
Yeah,
in it, kind
yeah,
of thing." And I just did it recently enough, but that it came out like this small. I don't know what I did fucking wrong because I put it on TikTok. It looks like a fucking postage stamp. Look like somebody's trying to write. It's like, ah, shit. And that was one of the things I did last night. I spent all that time so I could put a postage stamp on TikTok. It's just fucking crazy, dude.
that
But
would
you're
be
right.
actually a funny video of you saying comedians over 40 trying to make reels.
Yeah, exactly. Calling up people looking for YouTube tutorial. You going on YouTube to figure out how to put a video on YouTube. But you're right. There is an attention deficit. It's like you see that. You see like that's the thing. You want to do 30 seconds, 25, 40, not anything under a minute. These little quicks.
Yeah,
And instead of trying to put this whole thing, I'm still amazed though. I had an incident this week. It was kind of funny. I posted. I should have had my Ben run this thing. But did you watch the interview from the World Cup? You're a big soccer fan, I know. Uh,
yeah,
I'm watching that shit all week. But the American player, when the Iranian journalist questioned him, did you see that video? And he asked something to the effect like, "I know you say you support the Iranian people, but you continue to pronounce our country incorrectly. It's Iran, not Iran." The guy's like, "Well, I apologize. Thanks so much," and shit. Right. And he did this thing. He goes, "How do you feel representing a country that has racism and blah, 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 blah?" And the guy he was great. He was a professional. He's like, "Look, I lived all over the world. There's racism everywhere, but it's good to see that there's progress. We're working to fix it and kind of shit like that." As opposed,
that's
and
good.
I just thought it was funny. I did a radio talk show Friday for the opening. You do morning radio for fucking club, and the guy was
Yeah.
talking about it. The guy was talking about it, and he goes, "It was great the way the guy spoke." I go, "Yeah, if that was me, I would have been like, yes, okay, I'll pronounce Iran correctly, but if you wouldn't mind telling your government to pronounce our country correctly, it's United States of America, not death to America." It's a fucking difference, and it, it, but I had a comic. I won't mention his name, but he posted on my Instagram reel. He's like, "Oh, this is a lazy premise or racist." Da 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 da. I'm like, dude, I don't go into your fucking lame videos and critique them. I thought that was really like, have you ever have that? You ever have fucking another comic critique your fucking social
Yeah,
media video?
I've had comics troll my page, and I always say, "Thanks for watching, bro." I don't
That's
give a
it.
shit, man. They're just trying to like, because you'd be surprised, man. A lot of these trolls like aren't even real people. They're just robots
Yeah.
that have accumulated just copying what other pissed off people said. And when a comic does it, it's not really a real comic who does that. He's a bitter comic. Who is it?
I'll just
That's
say
what
that
that's what my
he's Iranian.
that's
He's
what my
Iranian.
you gotta do my podcast, man. My podcast, we drop names, we
Yeah.
we at them. Who is it?
I was comic Paul. It's a comic Paul Favara out of Chicago,
I know
and we
Paul.
worked. Yeah, we're friends and stuff. That's why I was like, "What?" I mean, he's Iranian, so I figured, okay, maybe he took it a little personally. He's like, "That was," because I said, "Look, it was just a fucking social media thing. It's not like I'm like, you know what I mean?"
You're not doing it on the Tonight Show. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people that correct your post on social media. I'm like, listen, I'm just doing a social media post. I'm not doing a term paper, asshole. I'm sorry I didn't put a comma in the right spot. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder if he was offended by that. But that's another thing too. I don't think comics can get offended, man. If you're really a comic, this is what we do. We talk shit. We make fun of everything, and
Yeah.
like it's who we are. Like, you know, I've made jokes at a funeral. Like, it just, come on,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, that was the thing that got me. I said, "Listen, I'm sorry you're offended," because I wasn't offended. I just feel it was a lazy premise or perhaps racist. I'm like, "No, you're just if that's you were fucking
Yeah.
offended. Let's face it. Don't start critiquing
It's
my
not even
fucking
a
comedy."
it's not even a premise. It's just a quick fucking one-liner TikTok, Instagram joke,
Yeah,
you know?
you know, exactly. And that's that's just the thing. It's like, and then I was working with somebody. He's like you said. He's like, why are you even addressing it? It doesn't even fucking matter. Like you said, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for your unsolicited advice. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, just kind of fucking stupid. But yeah, man. So, hey, you got haters,
Yeah, man. I got a lot of haters. That's good
because
though.
I remember about a year or two ago, I had a situation. I was talking to Trix, and Trix was laughing. He goes, "Dude, that means you're fucking working. That means you're doing good when you got fucking haters, because they're fucking
Yeah, if
pissed,
you
right?"
got haters, that means people are jealous of you. You know, they're jealous of you. People are cheering against you. You'd be surprised, man. I've lost a lot of friends in this business that I thought were my friends as long as I was under them. You know, as soon as
Really?
I started working more than them, then they started talking shit, which I realized, wow, you're not my friends. You guys are just either opportunists or waiting to see what I can do for them or get them bookings or, hang out in my circle. Just, you never know, man. Honestly, it's probably like this in every business, but what are you
Right.
going to do? It is. If you got haters, that's a good thing, man. And you're just push through because there's always going to be people that are like you or want to be like you or are rooting for you and the other side.
Yeah, that's true, man. And it is weird like that. It's like, listen, I can't, I'm going to be honest with you in full disclosure. There's some people I see that are doing well. I'm like, how the fuck did this person get, because you're like, but at the same time, I'm not like, oh, well, I'm not mad or cursing him. I'm just, I compare it to me. Like, I go right back to me like, well, what the fuck do I need to do? It's not like I'm mad and like, oh, that doesn't deserve it. It's just like, well, fuck, what am I doing? What do I need to do? What am I missing? It
Yeah,
just pushes me a little further.
Yeah, I used to think like that, man. I used to be on other people's Instagram and like, why is this person have more followers? Why is this person getting this spot? But that's a really bad way to think, man. Honestly, once I
Yeah.
stopped giving a fuck about everyone else and really focusing on myself, whether it's my stand up, my writing my scripts, my podcast, my social media, I was so busy on myself that I didn't give a shit about anybody else. And then
Yeah.
my numbers just spoke for themselves. If you have time to look at other people's things, then you're not working hard enough. You're,
Yeah.
you
That's a
know,
great point.
be your own
Yeah.
cheerleader. Be your own cheerleader. Root for yourself, and then stay focused on it, and it'll all pay off.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Because that was the big thing for me. Because people keep asking me, when are you going to work cruise ships, which we're going to talk about, and I just it's hard for me in my licensed fiduciary profession to be out on the boat for a few days and out of touch a little bit. But you're doing a lot of that. You just started this year or last year, working the
I
ships
started
a lot.
last year. I started
Yeah.
last year, and I was doing it really heavy because all the club scene wasn't. Oh, I started it, 2 years ago? No, like a year and a half ago. And I was doing it really heavy because a lot of the club scene wasn't open yet, like full capacity. So the checks weren't as big. I did cruises, but then I slowed down a lot. The clubs opened up again. I'm touring. I try doing cruises at least once a month, like a week, maybe 3 to 5 days. What's been really great about the cruise ships is that I've gotten to a level where like they put me on the really big ships, so now I don't have to like stay on the ship the whole time. I can fly in and fly out of the port,
Yeah.
which is kind
I
of
heard
cool.
that. Yeah, a lot of people talk about it. It's different, Like, like, do you feel different? I know that cruise ships, it's almost it's a corporate gig in a sense because it's very, how do you say, watched. There's a lot of things you could fuck up a lot. Do you feel
Yeah.
different? Where do you prefer? Do you prefer performing in a nightclub or on the boat?
Honestly, performing on a cruise ship, it's a completely different vibe than a land gig because it makes you work harder because what I do is like you're allowed to repeat yourself, right? You can do like the same jokes again if you want to on particular nights. But what I do is I tell everyone from the beginning, hey guys, if you like me, come back to the next show. I'm gonna do something completely different. So I challenge myself and I make it feel like it's summer camp and we're coming back. So by the end of the last show, I have it's super packed, and I'm really forcing myself to try new material and push and like write. I spend the whole day writing in the ship, writing jokes, and then putting the pieces together. And it's made me a really strong comic. It's like my open mic.
Yeah. Yeah. Jimmy Della Valle said that to us when he was on the show. He mentioned that because you're just writing new 30-minute clips. It's like
But
all you're doing is writing a whole.
Isn't Jimmy using other people's material though?
So, we're calling people out on this fucking show.
That's
He's
what
gonna
I
call
heard.
me.
That's what I heard.
He's gonna call me. Hey, Dougie, hey, fucking guy with the fro.
This fucking guy called
Um,
me. I fucking stood now. I fucking love Jimmy. Jimmy's probably one of the nicest guys in the world, dude.
yeah, he's a good dude. Well, let me ask you that when it comes to writing, because that's a big part now. Like I want to write a part for Dry Bar because I have the potential to get into that. So I'm trying to write all new shit. I really want to just put to bed. I want to take all the material I've cultivated and polished over the last 15 years and make it my album, and then
Yeah.
put it to
You
bed
should
and then
just.
start.
What are you waiting for? Just shoot it already and throw it away. That's it.
Yeah, that's the thing, because what I've been doing, it's like I've been having these bits, and then they're polished, they're refined, they've just been getting better. So instead of just throwing away all this, let's say the certain premises or certain themes of the jokes, I stuck with them and I kept writing it better and better and better. But now it's time to, it's about it and move on. Isn't it? What would you say is like your inspiration if you're going to sit down and write? Where do you start? Like, what is the first thing you do?
Well, I don't sit down when I write. The way I write is I go to a place I've never been before, a crowded place, and I walk around. I observe. I look around. I look at families. I go somewhere where I've never been before. I'll go to a mall I've never been to with a different type of demographic, whether it's Asian people, Black people, white people, or anywhere I've never been to, and I just kind of just sit there, have coffee, and just observe. And
Yeah,
then I kind of take that, and then I put like my own sense into what I would do if I lived here, or just I see how families are with their kids, and then think about my family, and that's how I go places. That's how I write. I literally go. I
yeah,
move around. I
that's
can't
a
sit
great.
down and write. I can't sit
I
down
think,
and write. I literally, it's so hard. Like
yeah,
I blank. I need to see things. I go to the park. I'll go to a museum. I'll go to wherever, and anywhere to get me out of my comfort zone, like where I'm not comfortable. Then that's when
right.
I get the best material.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's great. I think I heard bunch of people mention that to me. The creativeness only occurs when you're in motion, number one. And I think that's a great idea because that sounds similar. Like when people ask me, how do you come up with topics or what your stories are for the podcast? I will basically
Yeah,
go to a news source. I'll go to Yahoo News or and I'll just scan through stuff and I'll necessarily just come up with a theme just from seeing a story. I may not do the
yeah,
story, but the theme of that story just kind of sparks an interest of like, hey, you ever think about this shit? That's a great
yeah.
point.
Like
To do
I
it.
just wrote a new bit. I just wrote a new bit right now because my mother-in-law just was texting me, and I go, "Oh my god!" And then I wrote a whole new 5 minutes right now, just roasting her.
It seems like sometimes writing gets a little easier, right? The longer we're in this, it gets a little easier because it's so much easier to find two things. It's easier to find the funny and simple things, and then
Yeah,
we become such wordsmiths that we can make it funny with just within a sentence.
yeah.
By
As soon as you find out, if you figure out the timing with anything, it's all it is. All a good joke is it's great timing. That's it.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So
I
once you master the timing, you literally you can be the best comedian in the world.
Yeah, because and the idea of writing clean, I mean, I mentioned this 100 times in the show, but Rich Voss taught me that. He goes, "Hey, one day you're not going to just be writing, telling these jokes. You're going to be saying things that are funny, you know." And like one of the
Yeah,
first jokes I ever wrote with that philosophy was, "I'm in a good mood because I fit in this coat." It's just a simple fucking. It's two lines, and it's
yeah,
it's a funny comment,
yeah, yeah.
and that's the way to go. All right, so this is our segment we call "Let Me Ask You," and I've already asked you a bunch of stuff here, Jack Jr. But
Mhm.
let's go over a few things. Cake or pie?
Ooh. Depends who's making the cake or pie,
Yeah.
and what time of year is it. Is it
Oh,
the
there's a lot of
holidays? Because if it's the holidays, I'm going with pie.
yeah,
If it's just a regular freaking Tuesday, I'm going with cake.
yeah, cool. And did you? What is your favorite pie?
My favorite pie would probably be apple pie.
Really, little ice cream on top.
Ooh, yeah. Or pecan pie. I actually pecan pie. I'm going with pecan.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a good thing. Uh, LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
100%. LeBron James, not even close. There's nothing I like about LeBron James. I like Michael Jordan because he was loyal to a team, to his teammates. Like just the whole branding. Like he's a great businessman. He's a gambler like me. He wears earrings. you know? Yeah. LeBron James, nothing.
Yeah. I got to see LeBron James as a Miami Heat fan. I had season tickets his whole run here, and I lost all respect for him when he complained about cramps. I think it was against
Yeah,
in the
100%.
playoffs again. Remember when he had fucking
Cramps.
cramps? Ugh.
Take some Tylenol and play.
Yeah, take some Midol. What do the women take when they get cramps?
Midol, yeah, Midol.
Yeah. All right. Should student loans be forgiven?
No, I don't know. I never went to school, so I wouldn't know.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, if it's gonna mess up if it's gonna screw with my money, if it doesn't mess with me, forgive them. But if something happens later that, hey man, we're in debt because we did this, then don't forgive them.
Well, it basically costs about $500 billion, which will hit the American taxpayer. So that would hit you. And
So then don't forgive them.
yeah, fuck 'em. I mentioned this to somebody. To take $10,000 off somebody's debt at 7%, it only frees up less than $200 a month. If you want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
fuck up my day just because to save you $200 a month, get a job, lazy fuck.
yeah. Or don't
Um,
forgive them. Don't forgive them. Just freaking like forgive them, but just own them for like 30 years. Like have them pay it back slowly. I don't know.
yeah, well, yeah, not a bad thing. Maybe you should come work with me in my fiduciary office. Um,
Maybe I could if I could pronounce fiduciary.
it's it's so funny. Like I mentioned to you before the show, Steve Trevino said you got to do more jokes about that. So I'm trying to input it a little bit here and there to try funny, see if things work. And just the word
Yeah,
itself is funny. Fiduciary. There's a douche in there.
fiduciary.
Yeah, I'm a douche.
Douche.
Um, will you ever go to a Will Smith movie again?
Of course.
Yeah.
Who else is gonna save the world?
Now, how did you feel about all that? You're a comic. I mean, so far, everybody who's been on the show stands behind Chris Rock and the way he handled it.
I
But
feel like it was all staged and they were both in on it. There's
you
so
still
many
feel that?
different there's just so many things going on at the time, and Chris Rock went on tour right away. Like that was just I don't know. It could have been I don't know. It's just you never know. It's just Hollywood, man. Hollywood, you never know. I'm a conspiracy. I think about what was deeper behind the scenes. Something might have happened that day, like in Iraq or freaking in Lebanon, that made us
Yeah.
focus on this on the internet. Like the internet went crazy when Will Smith did that. So what
Yeah.
was really happening? What was behind the scenes? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
what did North Korea do? What did what happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
No,
don't
I
know.
think that's a good point. Okay. Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo,
Yeah.
100%. Messi
Yeah.
just looks like he just took a shit. He's like this.
Yeah. He's always, I was just saying, he's always got that.
He's always got that face that like he's just
Mm.
confused.
Yeah.
I like
Uh,
Ronaldo, man. I've been a fan of Ronaldo for a very long time, and I think he's the goat. I
yeah.
think he's way better. He's way better. I think I don't know. Yeah, Ronaldo, 100%.
Are you voting? Are you cheering for anybody in the World Cup that's still left in it?
Yeah. Who did I bet on? Oh yeah, the Netherlands. I'm cheering for them to win.
Yeah, they look strong, man. They look strong.
If they win, I win like $1,500. So yeah.
Nice. Well, so far you got Brazil and Portugal beat the shit out of Switzerland today. Ronaldo did
Portugal.
not start, which was interesting. They didn't start Ronaldo. and they were
No
up like
way.
4-0. Yeah, he didn't start today, and he
And
announced
you
that
know
he's
what's
going to be.
funny? Ronaldo probably didn't start because he has a sponsorship with a Swiss watch company called Tag.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe that's
I
why.
thought. I thought you were going to say he didn't start because there was a war in Lebanon today, and they wanted to have bullshit uh, on the fucking, to distract. Do you have any pre-show rituals, Jack?
Yeah, I tell myself this in the mirror. I do red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, and I go make the guys want to be you and make the girls want to fuck you.
There you go. That sounds pretty good. Red leather, yellow leather, red yellow. See, I can't even fucking do it. I'm
Yeah, it's
beating a
for
dick on
stuttering.
stage. Yeah. Uh, do you like? I mentioned this before, but you mentioned this. But do you like working on the cruise ships? Like, I think you're like me. If I was going to do it, I couldn't do it like 2 weeks in a row. It just drive me crazy all that fucking travel, right?
Yeah, I
And
did it for
being
2 weeks one time. I did it for 2 weeks in a row. I actually did it um, Christmas, Christmas through January 10th. It was 2 weeks straight, and I was miserable. I was miserable. I was sad. I was
yeah,
homesick. It was really, if it wasn't for FaceTime or WhatsApp, I would have went nuts.
yeah, I could only imagine because people don't realize that you are kind of like captive. You got to be in your boat. You got to be in your cabin a lot. You can't be mingling and all that kind of shit with
Yeah,
people.
it's like you're
Yeah.
going. It's like you're going on vacation by yourself and you have no friends.
It's exactly. It's like going to the prom by yourself. You can
Yeah,
only
it's like,
sit
and
in a
then
couple different.
you're everyone looks at you because you're eating by yourself. You don't like the other comic on the ship, so you're just by yourself. So you're just there by yourself eating, and everyone's judging you. Like you're weird, but then they find out you're an entertainer. Then they want to talk to you. But it's it's fun for the business wise. Like I'm getting a lot of stage time. I'm writing great jokes. I'm making fans. That's awesome. But just being alone sucks.
Yeah, yeah. People don't understand that. I was explaining that to a younger comic. He's like, it must be great to be on the road. I go, when you're in a hotel on Saturday and there's nothing to do, you're sitting there. You wake up at 9 in the morning. You get your free breakfast. You go back to your room and you're sitting around till 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. It could be a bit tedious at times.
Yeah, I was just
Uh,
in Canada. I was just in Canada, and my hotel room had no TV, no cable, nothing.
my
So
God.
imagine, I had to go out and spend money or be bored. So yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why it's good to travel with somebody and shit like that. But you're right, man. It's kind of there's moments like that where I'll be sitting in a hotel. I'm like, oh, I busted my ass to get here, and now I'm here, and I'm not even happy. I feel like until you, of course, you get on stage and all that shit, and
Yeah,
then you're fucking happy. But all that other shit just drives you crazy sometimes.
yeah.
Um, what is your most memorable moment? What is your most hold on, let me do that again. Red leather, yellow leather,
Red
red
leather,
yellow
yellow
leather.
leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow
Red
leather.
leather, yellow leather. Okay. What is your most memorable moment in comedy?
This past year, I taped for Arsenio Halls on Netflix.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That
That
was
was
awesome.
great, man. It was my parents were there, my wife was there, my sister was there. Arsenio remembered me from the Ha from years ago. Arsenio came on stage. He gave my parents a shout out. Gabriel Iglesias was there. Gabriel interviewed with Arsenio, and he gave me a shout out, saying I've known Jack for a very long time. Like he really like co-signed for me. So Arsenio Hall, Gabriel Iglesias, my parents all showed me love, and then I went up on stage and murdered the set, and it was probably one of the best feelings in the world.
That's awesome, dude. How is it to be growing up in comedy? Because like you mentioned, your mom and dad owned the Ha Ha Comedy Club in North Hollywood. I mean, how interesting was that? Growing up with that.
I mean, growing up, it was all right. I mean, I was always like a bus boy or washing dishes or sweeping or I was there at a young age, and then I never wanted to do comedy at all, man. Never was interested in it. It was just like my parents did. It was like a restaurant slash club, and I was always there. But then as I got older, I would start watching comics. I would see I saw like Brian Callen, Maz Jobrani, Sebastian Maniscalco, Brett Ernst, Gabriel Iglesias, all these great comedians, man. And it was I fell in love with it as a fan, but never wanted to do it still. And
Yeah.
then once I got married and divorced, and lost a lot of stuff, money. I needed therapy. I needed some therapy, and then my dad told me to do comedy. I
It's awesome. Yeah, Dad, tell your dad I said hello. Good dude, and your mom, of
will.
course.
I
I
will.
got to go to. I'm looking forward to go to the West Coast. I'm actually going to be. I'm doing JP's in January.
Nice, in Arizona.
Uh, yeah, and
Yeah, yeah,
looking forward to it. And just got to go to. I haven't been to Cali. I think the last time I was there was when we did the NoHo Comedy Festival.
yeah. I'm actually bringing that festival back next year.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. And because
Yeah,
everybody, all the sponsors were weed dispensaries, and
yeah.
I never took so many edibles in my life. It was so fucking unbelievable. I can still remember these fruity pebble ones that it was delicious. It was like
Those
a
are good.
brick. Oh my god, dude, they were so good. And I was high as hell. And I went back to my hotel and I had that there and I had the munchies, and they're like a
You
hundred
ate it.
milligram. Like, and I
They're
ate
100
half of it.
milligrams.
I ate a half of it. I was already high, and I was like, I was laying in bed like dreaming of unicorns, and it was just unfucking believable. Uh, it was so funny. What's
Yeah.
the worst or most embarrassing moment in comedy?
My first time ever on stage.
Yeah.
My first time ever on stage, it was at an open mic at the Haha, and I went up there, and when I tell you, for 5 minutes, maybe it was 3 minutes. It was so quiet and it wasn't funny. I got off stage and I cried because I'm like, dude, I everyone knows my parents own this place and they're gonna see me forever. And it was just really fucking sad, man. It was really sad. I didn't go on stage anymore for like three. I went in my first time ever was like 2008, and I didn't go back on stage till 2010.
No
I
shit.
was
Oh my
terrified.
god.
I was terrified for 2 years. I was like, fuck that. Yeah.
People people don't realize how much time will change. If you're crushing, it's like things are just swinging by like you're driving a million miles an hour. But when there's no laughter, when the crowd is, because some people say you could be funny and the crowd could be that way. It's just sometimes that could be the crowd, you know,
Yeah.
and time just strips by when that is going on. I mean, it's just like, it's just like, oh my god, like what the fuck is going on,
You can hear
Uh,
people like reach in their pocket for change, or like the waitress ordering something. It's the worst.
yeah.
Or,
I,
or
I
that
it
you hear
remind
the air conditioning go on.
Or a fucking blender from the bar.
Oh,
I remember I watched a video one time. I was at a club and it was one of those crowds. It was just like, oh, they were just. It was like a paper. It felt like a papered room, right? And I remember
yeah.
watching the video I took after, and I'm watching the video, and this old lady stands up and she goes, "I'm gonna go outside. This guy fucking sucks." And I was like, "You bitch!"
Oh wow.
I was like, "How fucking dare you?" I just remember I should have just saved that and put that. That would have been a great viral clip.
That
Um,
would have been.
oh my god. Now I don't know if you saw this in the news, but coyotes are like attacking people in Northern California in your state. So I was going to ask you, I don't know if you're aware of it, number one, but number two, since you're a California resident, any advice to those people who, if they're attacked by a coyote?
Um, I mean, this happened recently where I lived. A coyote attacked a child at the park.
Yeah.
Um, if you're okay, if the coyote is attacking your kids, I think you're just not a parent that's watching your kids. Like be present. A lot of people on their phone or talking to
Right.
another parent. Just pay attention. If you're a grown ass man and a coyote fucks you up, that's your fault.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a
I just
video I
think you
saw
should.
yesterday. Yeah.
I'd
I
punch it.
saw a video. Yeah, I mean, you got like you said, you got to be present. I mean, you could see there's a coyote, wandering around. It's time to grab the kid. They had a video yesterday of some lady that a raccoon attacked her daughter. It was biting her leg and shit, and the mother
Oh, I
just
saw
grabbed
that.
the
I
raccoon.
saw that.
Yeah, you see it? She had it. She was fucking trying to rip
Yeah.
it and throw it, and she got bit. So now they got to get rabies shots, which it always sucks.
I remember
Um,
one time. I remember one time a dog was biting my son, and I didn't want to punch the dog, so I bit the dog. And the dog cried and went away.
that's when you start going like this, and then yeah, yeah. That's great. Do you think the metaverse will work?
Yeah, it's already working.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's the future. I mean, people are. I mean, it's gonna make people freaking weirder and fatter and at home more. You know. I mean, it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna. I feel like the people that are running the metaverse are gonna be freaking loaded. But I'm saying people as like American citizens or whatever. We're just gonna become homebodies. You know, at home all the time, not want to leave. You know. But I personally don't. I don't know. I'm still gonna be present and out and about, but I think it is the future, you know?
Yeah, it is scary. I think it is the end of the world in a sense. It's just getting people more unsocial and more narcissistic because that's what we need, more narcissists in our country.
Yeah, totally.
Uh,
That's
uh,
exactly what
uh,
it is.
exactly right. All right, let's go to Did You Hear? These are some stories that have happened and maybe you may not have heard in the last several weeks. But let's get right to it. It's in the subject of the World Cup. Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican boxer, wants to whoop Messi's ass because he looks like
Yeah,
he's just took a shit all the time, as Jack said, after he stepped on the Mexico jersey at a World Cup. Now, here's the
yeah, I know, I
video.
saw
You
that.
tell us.
I saw that. Yeah.
This is them, Argentina, after they beat Mexico,
Why do
and
they have the Mexican flag in the room, though?
well, it was the shirt, and so he didn't step on it. He just kind of kicked it when he took his shoe off. Generally, because they exchanged jerseys. You know, probably one of the captain of the Mexican team probably gave him his shirt. And if you watch
Well,
the
I think he did
video,
that. It's kind of disrespectful. It is on the floor. Why would it be on the floor? You know, if
well,
it's something out of respect, I would have had it hung. You know, but it's on the floor.
their
Kind of messed
jerseys and
up.
shit were on the floor. I mean, when I played soccer competitively, professionally, and collegiately, you get into the locker room, you take all your shit off. I mean, I looked at it as like he had the shirt, he put everything on the floor. You just won a World Cup game. You're not going to be sitting there hanging up shit like fucking, like Martha Stewart. Um, I don't know. I like you said, I like Messi. But I don't. I think he's a little. I think Canelo is a little too pissed. He lost. He's a bit sore loser. But I love Canelo as a boxer. By the way, I think he's an awesome boxer.
Yeah,
Um,
Canelo would beat his ass.
wouldn't he be questioned? I mean, could you
And then,
imagine? You know,
and Messi be like this. Funny.
there you go. Did you know Adidas discussed buying the Yeezy name from Kanye West back in 2018 just to avoid being exposed to having him around? And since this article was placed, boy, has so much happened with Yeezy. I mean, what happened to this fucking guy?
Honestly, I stopped following Kanye West probably when he started dating Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, yeah,
That family, anything that family touches goes to shit.
yeah. It's true. You know,
Everyone, dude,
Uh,
it's crazy. It's crazy. Even
the
their
only
own
one who
son, Rob Kardashian, wanted to break away, and he went to shit. You know?
the only person who hasn't been affected negatively by being in touch with that family is Pete Davidson.
Yeah, because
He's the only
that
one
was
who
fucked.
survived the Kardashian curse.
You never know. He could. There's still time.
I mean, he could have a big wart on his cock right now, for all we know.
Yeah, he
He
probably
keeps
has. He
looking
has
at
a car wartian.
Carwartians. I'm sure she'd come up with some cream to cut and cover it up or get rid of it.
Yeah,
Um, all right, a Texas father is raising money after his girlfriend burned his house down because she was upset another woman answered the phone. Well, that doesn't seem to be fair.
yeah. That's crazy. People just start GoFundMe for anything.
Oh my God. I mean, listen, jealousies out there. You ever have a real jealous woman in your history?
Yeah, my ex was super jealous, but
Yeah.
she had to right to be because I was cheating on her.
Exactly. It's not like I didn't give her a reason. Um,
She goes, "Are you cheating on me?" I'm like, "Yeah."
well, good. Well, good for being honest. I had an ex-girlfriend one time completely keyed my fucking Forerunner and bent my girlfriend's fucking, like, went to my, I go see another girl, and she came to my apartment, knew my new girlfriend's car, and started bend her up her fucking windshield wipers and shit. Oh man, and it's funny. She goes,
Huh.
"How do you know? How do you know I keyed your car?" I said, "Because you put a big K on my fucking trunk or my hood, which for Kim, I'm assuming. 'Cause that's who
It was
did it."
Kardashian.
Yeah, see. Um, Now, for those of you getting older, here's a great story. Air India has ordered its cabin crew to dye their hair, report says. So you can't be looking old if you work for Air India.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
It's okay if you smell like shit, but just make sure
I
you
was
have no
just gonna
gray
say
hair.
that. Like, dye your hair, but don't shower.
We're okay with that. You
That's
can
so
smell like
stupid.
curry. You can smell like curry, but don't want gray hair. Uh, Ben, are we posting these stories? Am I going too fast? Um, this is yeah, there you go. You see the lady in the gray hair sitting in the second window from behind?
I never
Uh,
even knew there was an Air India.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The planes are made out of wood. Um,
Air
uh, this is a great story. Thai man arrested after promoting crystal meth as a skin brightener on TikTok. See, that's why I'm not getting
Nice.
all the views. You know.
Time,
Yes, just
time.
just take some of this crystal meth and put it on your face. It helps. It's
That's
beautiful.
crazy.
Yeah. Um, you think they're going to ban TikTok? You worried about
Oh,
Chinese government knowing all your shit?
they've been saying. I mean, I've read so many stuff about TikTok. I think TikTok is China's doing the long term game. Like they know what's up, man. Their kids are smarter than ours right now. Our kids are dancing and doing dumb shit, and their kids are like studying to be scientists on TikTok. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
it's very sad. If you think about our future, like I thought I'd actually do a bit about this right now. I asked my son what he wants to do when he grows up, and he says a YouTuber.
Yeah.
that's his like. I used to want to be a fireman, a police officer, a scientist. Like these kids want to be YouTubers. Like that's their goal. Like that's a goal
Yeah.
of theirs. It's
Yeah.
sad. That's not a
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah. I saw the video you placed. Like you're like, you're walking away.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Aw.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's a typical. It was so funny because when you did that, oh, it's like you hear every fucking kid the minute they don't get what they
There
want.
we go.
Oh,
Aw. Yeah.
that's great. All right. Speaking of worthlessness, getting into the most highly and holy of places, every monk in a Thai temple defrocked after testing positive for meth. I guess they had seen the TikTok video. Because monks are supposed to be pure, and
They're
I
pure as
mean,
hell.
yeah,
Well,
fuck.
no,
But
I've seen monks at casinos, bro.
yeah,
That's not pure.
yeah. I wonder, is it intimidating if you're playing poker and there's a monk sitting there and he's looking at you going, does he have the ace?
I always wonder where they kept their money because they don't have pockets.
Yeah, exactly. It's somewhere in the fold.
Yeah.
Uh, Rats blamed for eating through $1.3 million of joints worth
Nice.
marijuana in India.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And oddly
That's
enough,
pretty.
there was thousands of rats that made it to the local Domino's pizza shortly thereafter. And and
That's.
$1.2 million of Doritos were destroyed at a local bodega.
I wonder who ratted.
Which one of you rats ratted us out? It's the rat with the fucking Cheech and Chong t-shirt. All right. Now, our last Did You Hear? This was a great story. Dog shoots owner dead after stepping on his shotgun. So much for being
Wow,
man's best friend.
that's
The gun
hilarious.
was the gun was left on the floor, and the dog was, hey, take me for a walk, take me for a shit. Oop, I guess I'm
How
not
did the
going for a
dog
walk.
do that? That's crazy.
The gun was
How did
loaded.
how did that how did that story come out? Who said that? The dog said that? I don't understand.
Who reported it?
Who reported it? The person who reported it is the shooter. And it wasn't
Yeah.
me. It was fucking Timmy, the dog.
Yeah. It's the same dog that ate my fucking homework.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So here we are. We're at that moment in time. This is the fun part where we actually play a game called Let's Associate. Jack Jr., have you ever done word association?
Sure.
Ba- yeah, basically, it's like a psychiatrist type thing. If I say good, you say
Bad.
yeah, typical word association. So I have a few words for you. Now you don't have to just say one word. If it's more interesting, if you have a story or it just reminds you of something particular that the word or phrase brings you to. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Start the clock. Our first word, hack.
Comic.
Now, you as somebody who worked at your parents owned the club, if somebody was hacked, did you ever tell somebody that who worked at the club?
Yeah. I said that joke's been done before by 10 people.
Yeah.
That's
It's
it.
good to tell people that, right? Because I've been outgoing, especially if I like the person. I want them to know so they don't look stupid in front of somebody else. You know,
Yeah.
and I've had people say, "Why do you bother?" I'm like, "What? I mean, maybe
I
they don't
want to know.
know. Yeah, I would want to know if somebody's heard the joke, or if it's something.
Yeah.
Okay. Next phrase, running the light.
Hack comic. No, I'm sorry. I meant to say black comic.
Hey, are you trying to say that most time? I was at a show and the guy was doing a guest spot, supposed to do 5 minutes, did
Oh,
fucking
I
nine
hate those.
minutes.
The guest spots, fucking get them out of here. That's why I don't like giving guest spots, man, because they always run the light. Because 5 minutes is never enough.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to me, like guest spots should mean in the rooms I run is somebody who's a professional comic that happens to be in town or somebody who's auditioning. They just want to see him. You maybe give him a spot. But to give just guest spots out, it's like hey, I want to get a guest spot. Well, you know, and any particular rules if you're going to do a guest spot? Any advice you give a comic if they're going to do a guest spot? What are one or two golden rules you should follow when you're doing a guest spot?
Don't run the light and be funny because you'll never get a spot again.
How true is that? How true is that where
It's very
comics want to get in a spot, right? And then they go up and they eat a dick and they just ruined it, you know?
yeah. They ruin the vibe of the show, or if they do bad and then they yell at the audience, "Oh, you guys are tired. You guys are yeah,
Ah, that's the worst. It's never the audience's fault, everybody.
never
Our third word, booking.
booking." Are these all comedy related? Booking. This is a good one. I mean, I honestly feel like a lot of comedians do this. If you're sending me avails, if you're this is for other comedians that are watching. If you're sending avails to a booker and you are always available, I do not want to book you. Period. If nobody's booking you, I will not book you. So when you send your avails, never say, "Hey, I'm free all of November." That's not a good sign.
Yeah. You can't send your veils January 1st through December 31st. I'm available.
Yeah,
Um,
no.
Yeah, I actually just adjusted my normal, when I send avails to comedy clubs, I basically I said, here's where I've been and where I'm going to be. And I put all the dates I'm going to be and stuff. So they get it. One, they go, oh, this person's working, like you just said. And, B, they listen, if there's something in between, maybe they can fit it in. That's the way to do it. All right. Well, let's, maybe, my material.
My material. That what's associated with that? It's my material. I think every comic. I think every comic. My material. Oh. Every comic has their own material. Um,
Right.
a lot of comics. A lot of comics are. Sometimes they're confused with what's hacky material and what's real material. A lot of real material is personal stories or something that no one else can say. If you're doing a story about a car in a parking spot, that's kind of the hacky material. So it's pretty much a stock joke. You know what a stock joke is
Right.
not. your material. It's like, hey guys, or you're in show business, get your foot off the stage. That's so hacky, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that your own material is material that is no one else can do. It's your story. It's your life. Your everything. It's
Yeah.
you. You know. You know, if
Yeah.
you could tell a story about a water bottle, everyone can do a story about a water bottle. But how is this water bottle about you? You know, what did this do for you? That's your material.
Yeah. And your story behind it. I once had somebody in New York come up to me after the show, unsolicited comic, and he says, you do this Asian voice. That's hacky. I'm like, yeah, I understand, but I'm talking about my wife, who I've been with for a quarter of a century. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
it's coming from my
It's
perspective. The
your
normal
point of view.
cultures, yeah, it's coming from that. So it's not like, I didn't purposely marry an Asian woman just so I'd have material, you know,
I mean,
it's like,
I did.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the only reason I weigh 50 pounds more than I do because I just want to do fat guy jokes.
There you
Um,
go.
yeah. I think we covered this one, but killing it.
Killing it. Killing it. I think a lot of comics use this word very loosely. They always go, dude, this guy's killing it. I think you can only be killing it if you're doing a headlining set and you're doing more than 45 minutes and it's nonstop laughs. If you
Yeah.
just do the 10-minute spot and you're killing it, I mean, you got a great set. You know, killing it should be very like, not everyone should, it's like saying, I got a standing O. Did you really? Or did 4 people stand up? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Standing O's when the entire room stands up. Killing it should be like, yo, killing it is like, yo, you did an hour, you freaking killed it. You know? I don't want to hear a
Right.
fucking a 5-minute guest spot said, yo, man, I killed it. 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not killing it.
You're sup
5 minutes is
you're
a
supposed to.
good set. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're doing 5 minutes, you're supposed to kill it because you're gonna throw in your best 5 minutes, right? I mean, that's the way it goes. And by the way, yeah,
Yeah.
what I'll add to that is you should never say you killed it. Leave that up to other people. Nothing
100%.
irks me more when somebody says, "I killed it tonight." And you're like,
Yeah.
anybody else?
I'm always
Anybody
like, I did
else?
all right.
Yeah. Anybody else want to second that? And shit talking.
Shit talking. I feel like this happens every single day on social media. Everyone talks shit. Everyone that's talking shit isn't doing anything. People that talk shit are not doing anything that's going to help you. Keep your mouth shut and your work will talk your shit for you.
Yeah. I think it's important, even to this day. Me, I guess I get caught up in things, and like even with that last thing I mentioned earlier, I actually responded to the person where I should have just said, like you said, thanks for watching, and
Yeah.
to spend less time doing that, and I think it's great advice for everybody. and
Yeah.
um, and here's our last expression or word: threesomes.
Threesomes. Nice. That's the first word that came in my head.
Nice, I know, right? Is there ever a bad threesome? Um, you've been in
Yeah,
threesomes, right, Jack?
of course.
Yeah.
Good
We should
times.
take this into the comedy. What's your most memorable threesome and your least memorable or most embarrassing threesome?
The most amazing one was with a booker, and I'm just kidding.
And a guest spot who ran the light.
I guess what?
Um,
The worst one was the headliner and the opener. Funny.
That's fucking great. Well, there you go. Well, that's all we have time for here on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I want to thank Jack Jr. Asadorian for joining us today here on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. And you got plenty of shit coming up. You want to share anything coming up in the near future?
When's this come out? Is this live right now?
Wednesday night we'll air it.
Okay, well I'm on tour right now. All my shows are on jackjrcomic.com. Hopefully you guys can add it there, jackjrcomic.com. All my social media stuff, check it out, all the videos. But I will be going on a heavy tour next year. I'm always working and hope to see you guys soon.
There you go. If you're going to see him very energetic, always like every time I see Jack, like he says, yeah, I know this is his material. We mentioned that, but you would think he's making the shit up it just flows out naturally. So that's the kind of comedy I love to see. And so thanks for joining us, Jack Jr. And if you're ever in North Hollywood, visit the Ha Ha Comedy Club. Say hello to Jack's parents. Great room. Always a lot of great comics there as well. As for me, I'm going to be in Rock Hill, South Carolina this Thursday night at the Brass Tap, headlining the room. Next week on Thursday, I'm going to be in the Loft in Augusta, Georgia. And on Saturday, I'm going to be at the Block in Fort Walton Beach, Florida at the Comedy Zone. Go to DougieAlmeida.com for more dates. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We like to build that so we can get our own name in the YouTube URL. And, of course, follow me at all my social media. God bless. Take care. And we'll see you next time right here at the same spot.
God.